Breaking, Kendrick dropped. Fans are in utter disbelief as whispers of a shocking fallout between Kendrick Lamar and Kanye West explode across the internet. Just days after the leak of what appears to be a secret collaboration track gone wrong, rumors are swirling that the project didn't just collapse, it blew up in the worst way possible. And now, insiders claim Kendrick has been dropped from something huge, something no one saw coming. In an industry where loyalty is rare and egos are enormous, clash between two of hip-hop's most powerful minds has fans asking what really happened behind the scenes. The leaked track, riddled with cryptic bars, is setting social media ablaze. Was it a diss? A betrayal? Or something even darker? One thing's for sure, the tension is real. And it's not just musical, there are personal stakes. Heated calls, deleted tweets, unfollowed accounts, and now allegations that Kanye made a move that left Kendrick stunned. And possibly be, is this just another industry feud or the final nail in the coffin of a legendary friendship? Stay tuned, because what we uncovered next will leave you speechless. The drama is only just beginning. The silence was deafening the moment the leak hit the internet. No press release, no warning. Just a grainy, low-quality audio clip uploaded to a random fan forum, and within minutes, it was everywhere. Kendrick Lamar's voice, Kanye West's beat. But what caught everyone off guard wasn't the music hit, was the tension. Bars weren't flowing in harmony, they were clashing. And it didn't take long for fans to realize this wasn't a song. It was a war cry. The clip, barely 2 minutes long, had Kanye mumbling cryptic lines about snakes in the garden and kings turning soft. Then came Kendrick, rapping with a sharpness fans hadn't heard in years. It was raw, almost too raw like something that was never meant to be heard by the public. Insiders say the track was from a secret project the two had been working on. Something only a handful of people even knew about. A full collaborative album hidden under wraps, aimed to shake the foundations of hip-hop. But now, with the leak out in the wild, everything had collapsed. Within hours, social media was in chaos. Twitter timelines flooded with reactions. Some fans took sides. Others just wanted answers. Why did the verses sound like diss tracks? Were they fighting? Had someone betrayed the other? What started as excitement over a leaked collab quickly spiraled into rumors of a massive fallout. Then, just when people thought it couldn't get messier, Kendrick went silent. No posts, no comments, not even a cryptic emoji. Kendrick disappeared from the public eye, and that silence spoke louder than any verse he'd ever written. Kanye, on the other hand, did what Kanye always does. He fed the flames. He posted an Instagram story with a black background and 3 words. He dropped himself. The internet exploded. Fans interpreted it as confirmation that Kendrick had walked away from the project. But others believed something darker. Had Kanye cut him off? Backstage whispers started pouring in from industry insiders. One anonymous producer claimed the sessions were never peaceful. There was always tension, he said. They respected each other's genius, but it was like two storms colliding. In the same studio, egos, creative clashes, and a lot of unspoken resentment. Another source hinted that Kendrick had been growing frustrated with Kanye's erratic behavior, from missed meetings to bizarre rants. Kanye's unpredictability had reportedly pushed Kendrick to the edge. But what truly set things ablaze was a leaked voice memo that surfaced just days after the track. It was allegedly recorded during one of their final studio sessions. In it, Kendrick can be heard raising his voice, saying, "You're not the same. You don't listen. You don't care about the music anymore. This is all ego to you." Kanye responds calmly but coldly, "You don't see the vision. You never did." The audio ends with the sound of a door slamming shut. By now, fans weren't just heartbroken, they were furious. The idea that two of the greatest minds in music had come together and then self-destructed was almost too much to handle. Memes flooded the internet. TikTokers reenacted the studio fight with dramatic flair. Podcasts dissected every lyric, every post, every deleted comment. And while Kanye continued posting vague statements about being misunderstood, Kendrick remained completely off the grid. Then came the first big twist. A former member of Kendrick's close team broke silence in a no-deleted interview, claiming that Kendrick had been blindsided by the leak. According to him, Kendrick never approved the song's release, public or private. It was just an early demo, something rough they'd recorded during one of their more heated sessions. He also claimed that Kanye might have leaked the track himself. It's a way to paint Kendrick as the one who abandoned the project. Kendrick never wanted this to go public, the source said. He was still trying to figure things out. But he thrives on chaos. He saw a narrative he could control and ran with it. This was true. It meant the entire internet had been manipulated into believing Kendrick walked away, when in reality he might have been set up. This is when the fan base truly fractured. Team Kendrick and Team Kanye went head-to-head online. Kendrick's supporters pointed out how he had always kept things private, professional, and artistic. Kanye fans fired back with claims that Kendrick was too sensitive, too controlling, and couldn't handle a challenge. But beneath all the digital shouting, one question kept echoing: why now? Theories exploded. Some said the album was meant to drop during Kendrick's upcoming tour. Others believed Kanye was trying to sabotage Kendrick's momentum. A few even whispered about label politics, saying powerful people in the industry didn't want the project to succeed because it would have shifted power too drastically. Whatever the truth was, one thing was clear: someone was lying. A week after the initial leak, things took another unexpected turn. Kendrick's cousin, an up-and-coming rapper known as K. Jr., went live on Instagram. Visibly angry, he spoke directly to the camera, saying, "They tried to play my cousin dirty, and now they want to act like he walked out." Nah, he got pushed. The live was taken down minutes later, but not before fans screen-recorded every second. KDOT Jr. also mentioned something strange. He said Kendrick had found out about a secret meeting Kanye held with someone Kendrick once called family. The implications were massive. Who was this mystery figure? And what was discussed in that meeting? Speculation ran wild. Some guessed it was Kendrick's old label executive. Others thought it might be one of his past collaborators, someone who knew both sides well. But before anyone could confirm anything, a private photo leaked. It showed Kanye sitting at a table with none other than J-Rock, Kendrick's longtime collaborator and Teed brother. The internet lost its mind. Was J-Rock turning on Kendrick? Were alliances shifting behind the scenes? Fans tried to explain it away, saying it might be an old photo or just a casual meet. But others weren't convinced, especially since just hours after the photo surfaced, J-Rock posted a single word on his story: balance. The comment section on his page turned into a war zone. People demanded answers. Some accused him of betrayal. Others begged him to stay loyal. But J-Rock said nothing else, and the silence only deepened the mystery. Then, out of nowhere, Kanye posted again. Blurry studio shot. 2 shadows, one figure, clearly him, the other looked a lot like J-Rock. No caption, no tags. Just the photo. At that point, fans knew this wasn't just a falling out between two artists. It was starting to look like something bigger, something orchestrated. Kendrick, once seen as untouchable, was suddenly surrounded by whispers of betrayal, manipulation, and power plays. And while his silence continued, the noise around him only grew louder. But no one, absolutely no one, was prepared for what happened next. Because just as the story seemed to settle into chaos, a second leak dropped. And this one changed everything. The second leak wasn't just a song. It was a video. Grainy, shaky, clearly filmed on a phone, and clearly never meant to be seen. But there it was, floating across Reddit threads, Telegram groups, and Twitter pages like wildfire. The setting looked like a high-end studio in Los Angeles. And sitting at the center of the frame was Kanye West, pacing, ranting, furious, and then he said it. I made Kendrick. Without me, he's just another poet with a diary. The room went silent. Even through the bad audio, you could hear the tension. Kanye wasn't just upset, he was unraveling. He kept talking, saying things like, he's scared of real fame, and I carried him on this project, and he couldn't even handle the heat. But it didn't stop there. The camera shifted slightly. And in the corner of the room stood someone no one expected to see Schoolboy Q. The same Schoolboy Q who had been one of Kendrick's closest collaborators. He wasn't stopping Kanye. He wasn't defending Kendrick. He was just standing there, arms crossed, silent. That 10-second moment shattered the internet. Fans couldn't believe it. Was Schoolboy Q siding with Kanye? Was he part of the fallout? Had Kendrick been betrayed from within his own circle? Thousands of tweets flooded timelines demanding answers. Not Q2. One fan posted with a broken heart emoji. Another wrote, "Teed is falling apart in front of our eyes." Kendrick's fan base was spiraling, and understandably so. Up until now, people believed the drama was between two strong personalities clashing over a project. But this video hinted at something deeper, something personal. And just when the boo ZZ reached its peak, Kendrick returned. He didn't post a statement, he didn't do an interview. Instead, he released a short clip on his private website, only accessible with a password that fans had to decode through his old lyrics. And when they finally cracked it, what they found was chilling. A black screen, a single spotlight, and Kendrick standing alone looking directly into the camera. They thought silence meant defeat, he said quietly. But silence is just focus. And I've been watching, he paused. You'll hear the truth. Not from them, not from leaks, from me. The screen went black. The video ended. Within minutes, Kendrick's name was trending across every platform. Fans dissected every word. I've been watching became a meme, a rally cry, and a warning, all in one. And suddenly, the narrative shifted. People began to suspect that Kendrick hadn't gone into hiding. He'd gone into strategy mode. But Kanye wasn't about to be outdone. 2 days later, he dropped a surprise track titled Mirror War. No promo, no features, just bars. And they were brutal. He accused Kendrick of jealousy, of being scared of Kanye's real vision. He even name-dropped Jay-Z, suggesting that Kendrick had tried to turn Jay against him. The internet had never heard Kanye this aggressive in years. And then, in the final verse, he rapped. And you cried in this session when Q said, he's done, said the crown's too heavy, and you don't want none. Lines broke the internet again. The idea that Kendrick cried in the studio, that he had some emotional breakdown during the project, was devastating to fans. And it fed into a much darker narrative, that Kendrick wasn't just betrayed. He was abandoned when he needed support. The most rumors began circulating that during the peak of the collaboration, Kendrick had suffered a mental health episode. Some insiders claimed he broke down during a heated argument, while others said he walked out and never returned. And according to one unnamed assistant who spoke anonymously to a gossip podcast, that moment changed everything. He felt surrounded, the assistant said. Like the people he trusted the most were siding with chaos instead of protecting the art. And this is where the emotional weight of the story truly hit. Kendrick Lamar, the perfectionist, the poet, the prophet of the culture, suddenly painted not as a diva or a villain, but as a man cornered, crushed by pressure, left out to dry by the very people he once called brothers. Fans began rewatching old interviews, finding clips where Kendrick talked about trust, isolation, and loyalty. One particularly viral video from years ago showed Kendrick saying, "I'd rather die broke with real ones than be rich with snakes in my circle." It was clear that his values ran deep. And now, those values were being tested in real time. But while fans were busy empathizing, Kanye made his boldest move yet. He announced an official release date for what he called the original album. The album he and Kendrick had started. Except now, it would be finished without him. Kanye posted a teaser trailer with Schoolboy Q, J-Rock, and even Travis Scott appearing to be featured on the record. He titled it Vision Without Fear. To some, this was genius. To others, it was theft. The outrage was immediate. Thousands accused Kanye of exploiting the situation. How could he release a project built with Kendrick's input without Kendrick's consent? How could artists like Q and Travis participate, knowing the circumstances? Fans began organizing boycotts. Reddit threads compiled lists of artists involved, vowing to stop streaming their music. And meanwhile, Kendrick remained silent again, but not for long. One night, just 2 weeks before Kanye's album was scheduled to drop, Kendrick shocked the world once more. A billboard appeared in downtown Los Angeles, all black, white letters, and it read, "One verse, one truth, one response." Then the date, Friday. That Friday at midnight, Kendrick released a single titled False Idols. No cover art, no features. It's just 4 minutes and 37 seconds of cold, calculated fury. His voice was steady, no yelling, no chaos. It's just razor-sharp bars aimed at Kanye, at the industry, and at the betrayal he felt. You can't ghostwrite truth with a coward's ink. You can't steal a legacy with a shaky link. He rapped then, a line that had the entire internet gasping. You held meetings with traitors over plates I bought then served me the silence like it came from God. The song was a masterpiece of pain, anger, and clarity. Kendrick didn't just fire back, he reclaimed control. And in doing so, he didn't just call out Kanye. He exposed the entire machine behind him. Blogs exploded with praise. Critics called it a lyrical earthquake. Even some artists who had previously supported Kanye began posting cryptic messages about loyalty and realness. Fans rejoiced. Kendrick was back, not broken, not defeated, but sharper than ever. And yet, the tension was far from over. Just hours after False Idols dropped, a strange post appeared on Schoolboy Q's Instagram story. It was a photo of a burned notebook with the caption, "Some chapters aren't yours to write." And with that, the battle lines were drawn even deeper. Because as much as Kendrick had taken back the narrative, the people around him, they weren't done playing their parts in this twisted story. The image of the burned notebook spread like wildfire. Fans weren't just confused, they were rattled. What did Schoolboy Q mean by "some chapters aren't yours to write"? Was it a shot at Kendrick for dropping False Idols? Or was it aimed at someone else entirely? People scoured his page for answers, but there was nothing. No comment, no follow-up, just silence. Within hours, the internet was back in chaos. Fan theories exploded. Some believed Schoolboy Q was hurt by Kendrick airing out private studio secrets in the song. Others speculated that he was now fully Team Kanye. A few even went so far as to say that the burned notebook was a real metaphor that maybe, just maybe, Kendrick had destroyed something important in the process of fighting back. But then, an unexpected voice entered the conversation. Abe-Soul.Long, known for his cryptic lyrics and philosophical approach. Abe-Soul posted a midnight tweet that simply read, "Truth isn't just what's said, it's what's hidden." Then, 20 minutes later, he dropped a surprise Instagram Live. Fans piled in by the thousands, hoping for some clarity. Abe-Soul sat quietly for a moment before speaking. "I ain't here to take sides. I'm here to say something nobody else is saying," he began. This thing between Kendrick and Kanye started long before that track leaked. Started when egos got bigger than the vision. He didn't name names, but he hinted at something massive. Something about a private meeting Kendrick held over a year ago. He was tired, Abe said. Tired of the games? Tired of watching his name get dragged through other people's chaos? He tried to walk away from it all. But then came the kicker. He didn't want to do the album, AB's soul revealed. Not at first, not with Thee, not after everything. The chat exploded. People demanded answers. What did he mean, not after everything? What happened before? The album, A didn't say. Instead, he ended the live with one final sentence. Some people want peace, others want power. Only one of them gets to tell their story. The plot had officially thickened now. Fans weren't just talking about a music feud, they were talking about a full-blown power struggle, a fight over narrative. And suddenly, Kanye wasn't the only one being scrutinized. Kendrick's decisions, his silence, his sharp return with false idols, they were all being re-examined. Was Kendrick playing the victim, or was he just as calculated as Kanye? This is when the media picked up steam. Gossip blogs, hip-hop commentators, and YouTube channels all started digging deeper. And one particular podcast, run by a former intern at a major label, dropped a bombshell episode that shifted the story yet again. In it, the host claimed that Kendrick and Kanye had never been on equal footing during the album process. From the very beginning, Kanye allegedly intended to use the project as a rebranding tool. Way to show he could still collaborate with respected artists after years of controversy. And Kendrick, he reportedly agreed only under one condition: full creative control. But here's where it gets messy. The host said that behind Kendrick's back, Kanye began holding side sessions with other artists. He brought in Schoolboy Q, J-Rock, even a few up-and-coming producers, and they started tweaking tracks that Kendrick had already laid down. By the time Kendrick found out, the album had shifted into something he no longer recognized. According to the source, that's when Kendrick walked. Not out of fear, not out of ego, but because he felt hijacked. This version of the story made fans look at everything differently. The leaked track, the video of Kanye ranting, even Q's burned notebook post. It all began to fit together. Kendrick hadn't been dropped, he'd been pushed out of his own project. But the biggest twist was still to come. 2 days later, Kanye made a surprise appearance on a live-streamed panel for a fashion event in Paris. Nobody expected him to address the drama, but midway through the discussion, he veered off topic. You ever trust someone so much, you give M the keys, only to watch M crash the car and blame you for building the road, he said, smiling. The crowd laughed, unsure if he was being metaphorical. Then he added, I didn't drop Kendrick. I gave him the mic. He chose silence. And then he paused. But since we talk in truth, yeah, I leaked that track. I wanted people to hear what I heard. Pain, fear, potential. And yeah, I leaked it because he was about to run again. Admission was shocking. Kanye admitted publicly that he was behind the original leak that started everything. Fans were stunned. Some applauded his honesty. Others slammed him for what they now saw as calculated sabotage. Kendrick didn't respond. But someone else did. TDE's single quotes as President Punch broke his silence in a carefully worded post on X. There's always more to the story, but real ones, no Kendrick, don't run, he rebuilds. We saw this coming. The post sent chills through the fan base. What did he mean by, we saw this coming? Had Kendrick been betrayed before? Was this a pattern? Suddenly, the focus shifted to Kendrick's long history in the industry. His quiet exits, his mysterious disappearances, the delays between albums. Maybe the signs were always there, and just when things were beginning to cool down, a final leak surfaced. This time, not from Kanye, not from a fan, but from a private group chat that had allegedly been hacked. The screenshots showed a heated conversation between multiple TEED members, including Schoolboy Q and J-Rock. In it, Q reportedly wrote, I told him not to trust the smoke, but he kept saying this time it's different. Now look, another message from J-Rock read, he let his pride write checks his circle couldn't cash. The messages painted a picture of a team divided, hurt, and full of regret. It became clear that even those closest to Kendrick were conflicted. Some mourned him, some enabled him. And now, they were all caught in the aftermath. This is where fans began to turn inward. The timeline slowed, the arguments faded, and people started to realize this wasn't just about music. It was about loyalty, about trust, about knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. Kendrick Lamar, once seen as untouchable, had been dragged through the mud, exposed to the ugliest side of the industry, and betrayed by those who should have had his back. And Kanye West, he'd turned the chaos into currency, spinning this story in his favor, manipulating narratives, and walking away with all eyes still on him. But what nobody expected was who would speak next. Because in the shadows of this digital war, someone had been watching, someone who knew everything, someone who had receipts, and they were ready to end the silence. The internet froze when her name popped up. Whitney Alford. Kendrick, single quotes as longtime partner. The woman who'd stood by his side long before the awards, the fame, the spotlight. She'd never been the type to step into drama, let alone address the public. Her silence had always matched Kendrick's, calm, private, loyal. But now, she had something to say. It started with a simple post, white background, black text. They all think they know him, but I know what he lost. The post had no hashtags, no tags, no location. But within minutes, it went viral. Fans, media outlets, and industry insiders scrambled to understand what it meant. And then, a day later, a video appeared on her verified page. It was only 2 minutes long. Whitney spoke slowly, clearly emotional but composed. I've kept quiet through it all because Kendrick asked me to. He said, let the music speak. But watching him get dragged, twisted, lied about by people who once called him brother, that changed everything. She took a breath. What you don't know is that he gave up more than an album. He gave up trust. Months before the project started, he sat across from Kanye and said, I want this to heal the culture, not feed your ego. Kanye agreed, but he never meant it. Then, with a voice heavy with hurt, she added, they recorded hours together, moments that were beautiful, powerful, and then the moment he challenged Ye's control, everything changed. Suddenly, people he trusted stopped answering his calls. Meetings happened without him. Verses were remixed without permission. And when he walked, they called it quitting. He didn't quit. He protected what little dignity he had left. The video cut off with no warning, no explanation. But it was enough. It confirmed what many suspected, that Kendrick had been isolated, manipulated, and eventually erased from the project he helped build. But Whitney wasn't done. The following day, she posted screenshots of emails, all dated around the time of the supposed fallout. Subject lines included alternate versions, final mix without Lamar, and one chillingly titled, "We'll frame it as his choice." The messages appeared to come from someone in Kanye's team, a man known in the industry for cleaning up narratives and managing damage control. Fans were horrified. This wasn't a creative disagreement anymore. It was a takedown, a deliberate one. It's a cover-up, disguised as a collaboration gone wrong. And now the receipts were public. Within hours, Kanye's legal team issued a vague statement claiming the emails were out of context and potentially fabricated. But no one was buying it. The damage was done. Music blogs that once hyped Kanye's upcoming album began to pull back. Collaborators started quietly distancing themselves. Travis Scott unfollowed Kanye on Instagram. J-Rock posted a single word on his story, truth. And just like that, the dominoes began to fall. But the most emotional fallout wasn't public, it was personal. Behind closed doors, sources claimed that Kendrick had nearly walked away from music altogether, that he felt broken, exhausted, humiliated. And it wasn't just because of the betrayal. It was because he let himself believe this project could be different. He really believed it would heal something. One close friend told a hip-hop publication he thought maybe, just maybe, this was his moment to bridge worlds. but instead, it tore him apart. Then came the final twist, a full month after the first leak. Kendrick uploaded a video on his website titled The Real Album. But it wasn't music, it was footage. Real, raw, behind-the-scenes moments from the original recording sessions. Unfiltered conversations between him and Kanye. Moments of creativity, frustration, vulnerability. In one clip, Kendrick is seen telling Kanye, "I need this to be bigger than both of us," or "It's not worth it." In another, Kanye responds, "If it's not about control, then what's it about?" The videos were time-stamped, dated, proof that Kendrick's intentions were always pure, and that Kanye's obsession with dominance had slowly poisoned the project. The final clip showed Kendrick walking out of the studio. No yelling, no anger. Just tired eyes and a simple goodbye. "This ain't it, man. Not for me." The screen faded to black. Then the words appeared. "I didn't drop anything. I just walked away." The response was seismic. .hastags trended. Globally. Hashtag we hereby KDOT. Hashtag falsedalswastrath. Hashtag Kendrick was right. Radio stations pulled Kanye's leaked songs off their playlists. Even the press, which had played both sides, now leaned heavily in Kendrick's favor. The narrative had flipped. The damage to Kanye's brand was undeniable. But for Kendrick, it wasn't about revenge. It was about truth. In the weeks that followed, Kendrick returned to the studio, quietly, not with noise, but with purpose. Rumors circulated that he was working on a deeply personal album, one that wouldn't feature anyone but himself. And those close to him said he was different, not bitter. Not angry, just clearer. The world now knew the truth, the betrayal, the manipulation, the sacrifice, and most of all, it's the resilience of a man who refused to let his legacy be rewritten by chaos. But even with the truth out, one question remained: would Kendrick ever trust again? Because when the smoke clears and the fans go quiet, who stands with you in the silence? For Kendrick, that answer was no longer about fame, charts, or collaborations. It was about truth. And who had the courage to tell it? So, after all the leaks, lies, betrayals, and bombshells, the truth finally came to light. But even now, the dust hasn't fully settled. Fans are still trying to make sense of it. All did Kanye really orchestrate the downfall of a project meant to unite? Or did Kendrick walk away before giving it a real chance? Is this the end of an era or the beginning of something even bigger? One thing is clear. What started as a dream collab between two of hip-hop's most influential minds turned into one of the most explosive, gut-wrenching breakdowns the industry has ever seen. And in the middle of all the chaos, only one voice rose without screaming Kendrick's. Not through drama, not through revenge, but through quiet power. Undeniable truth, but we want to know what you think. Was Kendrick Lamar pushed out of his own project? Did Kanye West cross the line by leaking that track and reshaping the narrative? And who do you believe is telling the real story? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. No holding back. And hey, if you're still here hooked on every twist, every whisper, every shady move, then you already know this is just the beginning. We've got more celebrity drama, more untold stories, and more wild twists coming your way. So make sure to hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a moment of the madness. Because in the world of fame, nothing is ever as it seems. The real story is always hidden just below the surface. This was your inside look. Now it's your turn to speak. We'll be watching.